Well, you know, Robinson, we might could get along. I'm playing very dumb. I said, what do you mean we get along? I said, you raid me, what else can I do? He said, well, maybe I won't raid you. Well, he didn't want to ask me for any money. I said, well, then, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. He said, if you're not going to raid me, why aren't you going to raid me? He said, well, there are ways that we can get along that I won't raid you. So I said, what is that? Looked him dead in the eye, and I didn't bet an eye. I looked right at him. He said, well, you know, people have to live. See what that's for them. I said, well, I get the picture. So I said, off the record, just you and I, we don't make much money here. We just make a small amount. Maybe I make ends meet and pay my rent and buy a little food and have a few bucks in my pocket. But I can give you $5 a week. Man, his eyes got big little light bulb. He said, that's great.
They'd drive by for in a big Lincoln, and the guy would take out and hand him an envelope. You know, it's a payout.
But cops and politicians weren't the only ones on the take.
A piece to come and he's come and bless the joint, you know. Throw that stuff over, drink a little wine. My uncle would duke him, give a little scratch, take him back to the church. Oh, yeah, them days. Priests were, oh, sure. They're on the 8K too, are you kidding?
Still, in most parts of the country, getting raided and getting arrested were part of the game, part of the fun of running an illegal club.
I've been arrested more times than you got fingers and toes. For gambling, never did matter. Under a different name every time.
I never went to jail very often, but I went to jail for bookmaking a couple of times.
100 times. I got raided in Los Angeles, from Los Angeles to Oakland, San Francisco. I guess I got raided 100 times.
It was the same whether you happened to be in Detroit, Decatur, Portland, Galveston, or Omaha.
Detroit and all the towns, it was a fix, you understand? So you go along so long, and the captain says, you got to take a pinch. Two guys got to go downtown. So I like to go, but I'm a young kid. I don't care. I'm getting arrested. I love it. You know, bing, bing.
When they arrest you, they put in the paper, they list the names of the people, and when they charge you with keeper of a disorderly house.
In many towns, the police were well aware of the gambling houses, but let them continue. When they did raid the clubs, more often than not, the authorities would actually let the owners know they were coming.
The chief would call the boss up and say, well, I'm going to raid you this afternoon at 2 o'clock. Have 10 people up there. So the chief and a couple of men would come over and haul us, all of us, over to the police department. And the boss would pay the $25 fine for everybody and go back and open up.
The one club I reckon, I think that was the Merchants Club, was right across from the police station, and they never bothered anybody.
If you didn't give them any trouble, they didn't give you any trouble. It was just, you know, like writing you a ticket.
Once in a great while, the raids were real and unexpected.
The biggest raid that happened on the Balinese room was in the 50s. And what had happened is a new sheriff had come in town, and he wanted to clean up the gambling. So he had set about, he had 2 undercover agents that went to 50-some clubs throughout Galveston, and over months and months they had built up enough on most of these clubs to start doing the raids. And what they did for the Balinese room was they had sent in some undercover people before to go into the back room and gamble.
Once he got inside, he walked up to a 21 table and just put down his 45 on the table, and he said, this is a raid, don't anybody move. And then that's how they were able to raid that place.
I put my head around the corner, and here's guys coming with hunting jackets and rifles, or shotguns rather, shotguns. And this is a raid, for Christ's sake. So I go for the scratch to get it out, and that's when they cop around me and said, hold it right there.